Hi there, it's Elaine Lindsay of Truel Social Media and your host of Business Banter Plus TV. I'm really excited today and eager to share with you about all the knowledge that my guest has. My guest is Jeffrey Smith, and oh my God, I have so much that I could tell you about him, but we're going to keep a lot for him to say. I want to tell you a little bit about what his background is, and we'll get him to sort of expand on that later. You know, my guests always have a background, and we try to do things that relate to search and social. This, of course, is Jeffrey's area, but not where he started. You know, search and social is such a huge part of your online presence. It's really important for people to also start understanding that search and social media are integrated, and that's going to impact what you do. It's going to impact the SEO you use and the frameworks and WordPress and other things that Jeffrey can actually talk to. So, using this Hangout feature, as I do for broadcasting the show, this really has me walking my walk, and as everyone knows, I can be found at the corner of search and social. Without further ado, let me welcome Jeffrey and give you a little bit about him. He's the founder of SEO Design Solutions, Inc. This is the company behind SEO Ultimate. This is now the third most downloaded SEO plugin for WordPress, and it's a plugin I've been touting for a while. He also has SEO Design Framework. It's a premium multi-purpose WordPress framework that really has incredible drag-and-drop capabilities and makes designing within WordPress really simple and quick, and gives you a really beautiful sort of end product. The theme is very flexible. It comes with a lot of stylish skins, which are really kind of cool, and a great website silo architecture. Now, here's where the cool stuff comes in. Jeffrey learned SEO out of necessity, is what I'm told, back in 1995 when he launched his first startup, and I think it's Aaron International, with his partner Monica Hadley. And the initial product, this should blow everybody's mind, was a drive time aromatherapy diffuser. Wrap your head around that for a minute, because that's nowhere near search and social.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, but that one product really exhausted your budget. So Jeffrey, who is, as you'll very quickly see, a very ingenious human being, he decided, why not learn web design and SEO as a viable solution? So that's where his career in search engine optimization began, long before Google. He was using things like Lycos and Yahoo. And did you use Dogpile?
I did. I love Dogpile.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That and Go. They seem to, once again, do something, and before you know it, you'd have 3 pages of the first, well, all 3 pages would be your search result.
It was a great way to go.
Definitely.
He was able to very successfully land their first major deal with the retail giant Bath and Body Works. I'm going to assume that's an American company.
Yes, it is.
Okay, now from that point, the company matured into a global fragrance and technology-based product development firm. It innovates custom fragrance programs for private label in addition to their own house brands for major retailers throughout the U.S. and the entire world. Now that has to blow your mind. In 2002, Jeffrey was able to retire. Now, as you can see, he's a very young man. But he came out of retirement in 2006, and this incredible dynamic individual then founded SEO Design Solutions, and the growth and dedication to product excellence continues. I am so happy to have you with me.
Thank you so much, Elaine. I truly appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and your audience.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. And just to let people know, I actually had started using SEO Ultimate quite a while back, and as soon as I saw that you had this product, SEO Design Framework. I thought, you know what, everything that I've seen so far was good, so I thought, why not jump in, check it out.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Honestly, this stuff all started when we created the whole SEO Design Solutions entity. I remember it started off with just a couple of web design projects. Eventually, it turned into 8 projects, and before we know it, we had 40 clients. So basically, instead of having to start over every time, what we decided to do was create some repeatable solutions. And so that's where the SEO Ultimate concept was born. WordPress was the most popular CMS at the time, and we decided to use that as our platform. And so essentially after that, we started creating modules so that we could enable or disable things, and that sort of solved our problem because most of the clients we were dealing with, they already had their existing content management systems or websites in place. And so we would simply attach a WordPress blog as a beacon and recreate the styles to make it look like their site. And from there, we could actually, apply the silo architecture, the internal linking, and all the other types of modules we had. Use that to create the content, and then provide links back to their static landing pages or whatever other types of sites that they had. And then we found that it became very popular, and not really thinking much about it because at the time we were still doing the client thing, and we're really excited. We got to the first page of Google for the keyword SEO in 2 years. And at that point, we had released the SEO Ultimate plugin, had several 100,000 downloads, and it was a real groundswell. And we just kept adding to it and really didn't think anything of it. And then we found that, unfortunately, we put the link of the keyword SEO in the footer just as an attribution link, and then we got 1 million+ links, and then that keyword slipped. So we got slapped for that particular keyword. But the business was thriving, and we just had a really great response. And the framework was really something that we had started back in 2007 as well. And so we just kept adding to it, and that's sort of how that story evolved, where it was never really intentional, but we figured if we're using it, we might as well share it with people, and then it just literally took off.
Well, that's what I understand, because SEO Ultimate was actually for you.
Yes.
So you guys could make things easy for you.
Correct. We just streamline our process.
Yeah, and those modules you mentioned, that's kind of where the framework came from.
Yes. Essentially, it was once again the having WordPress as the base just provided an immense amount of flexibility. So we just used that. We were working on the silo architecture module since 2007, and it just came to fruition just a few years back, and we were able to get that finally settled and done. But it was really just every time that we had a breakthrough, we thought we'd just keep adding it to our collection, and then we used that. I think at one point we had around 1,000 sites that we owned that we were using to manage for SEO, and we used that for our own purposes as well as for our clients. So really interesting stuff.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's really great. And it's, I mean, having to delve into the web design and the SEO is obviously what led you to be so good at it, because it was a need that you had. It wasn't just something you thought you'd play with, or a path you thought you might go down, but you were kind of in a position where you needed to figure this out.
Correct. Yeah, it was really applied. Basically, it was just trial, error, and what worked at the time. I mean, we were really doing a lot. We had some pretty revolutionary tools, I have to say. We're very fortunate to have some very smart friends, and we were able to collaborate on a lot of interesting things. And so it was just really the opportunity to provide that and give it away for free. Gave us a lot of feedback from the community as well. And so that sort of leads me into the next phase, which, we gave it away for 8 years, and we're just not really at a point where we can continue to do that because we've invested so much in in coding this thing and maintaining it. So we are planning on introducing SEO Ultimate Plus shortly, probably as soon as next week.
Oh, wow. Oh, then this timing couldn't be better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, and realizing, okay, 8 years is a really long time to provide something free. And
Yes.
For people who have not yet seen SEO Ultimate, we're not talking a little plugin. We're talking an incredibly robust plugin that handles everything from your 404s to link masking, you name it. It's in there. And
Yes.
I find it just incredible. I think premium's a great way to go, and the framework itself, so people who understand a bit about WordPress, it's basically it's housed where your theme is housed, but the
Yes.
framework gives you so much more. You really have control of everything you put up there.
It's very granular, and it was
Yeah.
essentially designed for somebody who didn't know how to code. That's the thing. So you don't really have to mess with style sheets or and solution to, you can literally use it to create child themes like a typical framework,
Yeah.
or you can just go inside and customize everything. So there's an individual section for the header controls where you can drag and drop or create your own headers. You can create box or wide layouts. And the real distinction is that you have global settings and page level settings. So once you go through and you choose your layout, for example, you go through and you choose the way that you'd like your navigation style, your header structure, your footer, your widgets, which they do have the display widget functionality, so you can show widgets on certain pages and hide them on others. There's a whole range of possibilities that are available for you, literally over 1,000 admin options inside of it. And it can be quite daunting at first when you look at it, but once you understand essentially how it's designed, where if you need to adjust something with the widgets, then you would go to the styles page, go to the widget area, and all of your controls would be there, from everything from your alignment, the font choice, the content size, etc. So it's one of those things where you can literally create your own themes with it, and then all the settings inside of that theme literally get saved as a skin, and that skin you can export. And so anytime that you have another framework, for example, if you're a web designer or developer, it's really good because you can create your own library of themes. So you don't have to start from scratch. And that was the whole thing, is once again, is creating that repeatable consistency that you would like to use, so that you don't have to start from scratch. And so, you could create a base theme, and now you just make a few changes and you can export that, and there is your next project without having to start all over again.
Absolutely. You're not going back to the drawing board. And just for those that aren't super SEO savvy, I have a business coach who's forever telling me that I sometimes have to stop speaking geek because people tend to miss it. So I want to say, for people who aren't quite sure what skins are basically a theme. It really encompasses your WordPress installation as an incredibly gorgeous theme.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Basically, it's not a theme because you don't have to go to Appearance Themes to upload it, but you'd rather, it's just a sort of like a text file that takes a snapshot of all the customizations that you have done. And so it's basically just taking a snapshot and then loading that into a fresh version, which is now going to emulate that. So it allows you to clone your layouts and things of that nature. It's separate than the actual content. So it's not providing, like, if you have a skin, you can still have your own demo content, but it's really just our way of saying, hey, look, instead of spending a few hours trying to figure this thing out or customize it, you can literally buy it, take it out of the box, find a skin you like, copy and paste it in a certain section, hit save changes, and now you've got your design done, and now you can get back to making money and adding content.
Yeah. I was using theme in just for the verbiage, but you're absolutely right. The skin, the file that is the skin that encompasses everything you do is so easy peasy to just grab and replicate on another site, or as you say, do whatever you will with it. But it cuts out an awful lot of time.
It does.
Even from regular themes where, if you flip a theme and something has changed, then the widgets aren't in the same place, and
exactly.
You don't have any of that.
No, because essentially, since the content's in its own area, if you had your stuff set up in a right sidebar and you upload the framework and you activate it, well, you go to your global settings, you choose right sidebar, save changes, and there's all your stuff.
Yeah.
And we're also looking at taking it a step further. So instead of even having to have skins, based on the purchase and based on the package that you purchase, it'll just come preloaded. So that basically you're going to go into the styles area and you're just going to select it as a preset, and then you click a button and it's just done.
Oh, so great.
Working on some things like that. There's also some really, there's a couple other interesting evolutions. Since we do use short codes in the builder, and I know that's a point of contention for some, But since there are short codes, and then you would simply go in and click the builder and it would reproduce the different types of layouts, we've just added recently the ability to clone hero section. So say you create a row and you've got a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 layout, and you have your images and text and everything the way you'd like it. But if you wanted to move that to another page, you'd have to recreate it. Well, now we've added a copy and paste feature where it copies it to memory. You can go to any other page that you want and you can paste those design blocks. So it really opens up another level of possibilities for us, where now we can create these pre-created landing pages and different types of templates and content areas and parallax features, etc., and provide those instead of having to go in and download an entire demo and then delete what you don't want. Well, the design library, I think we're going to call it the quick start shortcode library or something along those lines. We're just rolling a few words around with it right now and ideas. But you're just going to be able to go in, find a page that you like, copy that shortcode, go to a new page in your site, click the builder, there it is, change your images and text out, and publish.
Oh, so wow.
That's the next level. And then if you wanted to, once again, mix and match different types of layouts, you could have another page open where you just sort of place things and you grab what you want and then paste in your final page. So it's going to save you a lot of time. That's really the objective.
Absolutely. That's phenomenal. And often, because I often hear people say that they get annoyed having a theme because it either they're relegated to a right sidebar or left sidebar, or they originally set it up with 2 and oh well, I seem to be stuck with that. This gives you the flexibility that in essence, if you want, every single page can be completely different.
Literally. You'll be able to choose different presets for different pages, so you can load up as many preset or theme types as you want. So essentially, if you had 10 different distinct layouts and you wanted to use that on page 1, a certain layout, and on page 2, a different layout, that's where the local page settings come into
right.
play.
Right.
And so literally, once your global settings are set up, on the local page level, you have the ability to toggle on or off your title. You can change your header structure. You can change the layout for that page. And so that's really the beauty of it. And then once again, it goes back into the old SEO Ultimate mentality, where you just create modules that allows you to sort of use what you want and turn off what you don't.
Yeah. Well, and this is part of what I think is so exciting about this. Per page, people who use other SEO plugins know that you work with your keyword phrasing per page.
Yes.
It's got a really handy dandy segment where not only are you working with the SEO, but you're working with your social networks as well.
Yes. Yes.
And having that all in one place and all truly handy like that just absolutely makes it a breeze. And as someone who teaches others about SEO and about social media, for me, this is just an absolute boon and bonus to give to the clients.
So glad. I mean, honestly, it's about giving back. And in this regard, we know that without, because we're on a Google Hangout, so I don't want to start bashing anything and all of a sudden have the feed cut. But in all reality, we do know that they favor big brands. And at this time, there's not really a lot that the little guy can do other than, cross their fingers that the next algorithm change doesn't wipe them out. So this is really our way of saying, okay, let's, instead of just, having cool tools or having X amount of clients, we've totally moved away from the client model. And now we're focusing exclusively on software and training, so that basically we're going to be showing people how they can do these things themselves instead of spending thousands of dollars a month and crossing their fingers that whatever they're doing is going to work out. At least if they're empowered, they're going to have the ability to know if the SEO company is doing what they say they're doing. They're going to be able to determine if the internal linking structures are proper, if their metadata is right, if they're using proper schema or open graph markup. Why? Because we're showing them how they can do it with our tools. And so that's the beauty of this, is really it's an equalizer in a way, because I've seen the results of what it's like when somebody has their last $500 and this is their only hope for their business to stay alive. And once again, another algorithm change comes and shifts and takes them out. So what I was getting at is there are certain things in SEO that change and there's other things that remain the same. And some of those things that remain the same are semantic connectivity, relevance, LSI, which is latent semantic indexing, and basically the way that things are structured on your page. Site architecture is another big thing. And then when you combine that with internal linking and proper metadata, covering those basics goes a long way before you even think about sharing your content socially or building any type of backlinks. And so when you focus on those fundamentals, it really does take you a long way. And if you're an active person that's either aggregating content or creating your own content, it's not just adding it, it's the way that you add it. And so that's where site architecture and structure come into play. But using those things really does provide a lot of value in the long run. And so this is our way to just sort of help share and educate people that there's a lot that you can do. There's other things where you might need a firm to take care of that, or syndicate, or increase the certain signals that you may not be able to do on your own. But there's also a lot that you can do for yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what's I think really key, and what I found really good when I got to SEO Design Solutions, there's an awful lot of training that you're offering for everything you put out. You're not just giving people the software, you're empowering them to use it properly. And I have to say, okay, I'm a social media and search person, so I have tried everything, unless it came out in the last 10 minutes because I'm busy. But basically, we try everything. We want to see, what works, what's better, what. And the fact is that I have seen so many companies come out with great software, and either they don't have any training, or the training is kind of haphazard and really doesn't explain the product.
Sure.
And in fact, yours is good. It's good basic pieces so that even an average Joe with a WordPress site could feasibly buy SEO Design Framework. Yes. And I would say within a couple of hours could actually do a decent job of putting up their site.
Yes.
And that to me is absolutely key.
Thank you. And we're working to simplify things too, to create basically presets, because we don't want people to be overwhelmed with the number of features. But the reason we did that is so that you don't have to know how to code, so that you don't have to go in and go, oh God, what am I, do I have to learn PHP to hack my theme to make this happen? No, you just toggle a button and there it is. So that's the value. And so once again, once you understand how the modules work and how to put things together, we can build out sites in 35, 40 minutes in most instances. To create a professional skin from start to finish takes us about 5 or 6 hours, but that's a skin that, we're looking at everything. We're creating the presets for all the colors, the drop downs, the navigation, the font types, and all that kind of thing. But if you really just wanted to create a theme, you could literally get that thing up and running in a couple hours.
Yeah, and that is truly valuable. So we've talked about SEO Design Framework, we've talked about SEO Ultimate. Let's now talk about the whole thing. I want you to walk us through going from fragrance to web development and SEO, and is there some kind of bridge there? Did your schooling have anything to do with that, or were you just always eager to try new things?
Yeah, honestly, there was no schooling. There was the school of hard knocks. I mean, I was in my 20s when I started tinkering with the idea of this fragrance diffuser, and that took a good 8 years to get off the ground. When it finally did, it's now an 8-figure company. But I was going to say that after that, it was really just necessity once again that made that happen. At the time that we started doing the web design stuff, it was really the second time around, and so it was really good to just get back into that field. And then after that, SEO became such a big thing that it's like, instead of just allowing that to sort of drift by, this was, like I said, 2006, it really was all everybody was doing. So I just dedicated all my attention to that and figured out how the algorithms worked, and really made a good go at getting clients ranked for some extremely competitive verticals. So after that, we were just fortunate enough to share. So there was no real particular game plan, to answer your question directly. But it was just, once again, out of necessity and adaptation, being flexible.
Well, hey, necessity is the mother of invention.
Absolutely, literally.
Yeah, absolutely. So going forward, okay, for someone who maybe isn't ready to really dive in but wants to get their feet wet,
sure,
give us a few sort of basic SEO truisms, if you will, for how they could, if someone has a WordPress site, how they could use SEO Ultimate and how that can really help them to rank. Because quite frankly, it can. You you
Yes.
you have a lot of control there using that plugin.
Yeah, absolutely. First thing I would say is, going back to basics, I'd look at your title tags and meta descriptions and making sure they're consistent, that you sort of remove the blog name, like whatever your site name is. You don't need that on every page. It's better just to have something that's more focused. Your title should definitely be conversion focused as well as SEO focused. So if you can move your primary keywords closer to the beginning of the sentence, that would be good. Making sure that your meta descriptions have a strong call to action, as well as include a couple of different synonyms that are important, and search phrases that somebody might be looking for, such as reviews or activities or different buzzwords in your market. Also, after that, I would look at pruning the links. Now, here's one of the big things that people don't realize is that link flow, the way it works is essentially if you have a page and it has 100 links on it, it's like having a bucket full of water with 100 pinpricks in it and all the water spilling out on the floor. So managing the number of outbound links on each page and making sure that you don't create a duplicate footprint, because long ago there's something called the visual page segmentation algorithm that looks at the similarities between each page. So it's going to look at the navigation structure and the sidebar and the footer. And out of that, it's already going to have all that data that's essentially cluttering the footprint of what is this page about. So you need to know about market focus and link flow. And these are things that, if you're familiar with Market Brew, there was a tool called SEO Orange back in the day.
Yeah.
Now they're called Market Brew. Does a really amazing job where they've actually created their own search engine, but it shows you how a search engine calculates relevancy. And one of the main things that these newer algorithms are based on is that thin pages essentially get eliminated because they obfuscate the true signal of relevance. So in other words, if you can make sure that each one of your pages has a clear, definitive purpose. For example, if I'm on a page and I'm talking about diamonds and I see the word luster and shiny, a search engine, by looking at the relationship between those phrases in a vector, is going to know that it's actually about a physical diamond. But if I see the word hot dog and mitt and beer, it knows that I'm talking about baseball. So it's not just about stuffing all the phrases into one page over and over and over again. It's about using phrases that encompass the entire topic and making sure that those signals are prevalent, as well as not having signals that are, once again, inside of your template that are overwhelming what could be relevant. So to simmer that down into a more actionable plan, pruning your links so that if you have these massive sidebars and things of that nature, you might want to consider doing an iframe so it's not leaking your link flow on every page. You can sort of use different navigational structures so that if you have a massive navigation, you might want to consider making hub pages in your site. So instead of having 20 links on my navigation, I might have one link to a page that has 20 links as a category that I can go to. And now I'm not going to be bleeding ranking factor across from there. Yeah. Making sure that your internal links, where you're linking contextually, meaning inside the content areas, are going back to your preferred landing pages. And there's something that you can do. It's very simple. If you just use the site : command, so site : mydomain.com space, and then you put a keyword there. Say I'm trying to rank for the word diamond once again, mydomain.com space diamond. It's going to show you in rank order inside of Google which pages have the most relevancy for that word diamond. And then you would take those 10 pages and you would find a place contextually on that page to then drop a link to your diamond page. And so that's another thing that you can do, is by structuring your internal linking, you can do that. Now, instead of having to do that the old-fashioned way, since you did ask about how to do that with SEO Ultimate, that's what the Deep Link Juggernaut was created for. So essentially, you have two ways to use it. You can actually go in and just, on the page that you want to rank for a specific keyword, there's a feature that's called instant post propulsion. I know you can't really say that more than once or twice, but instant post propulsion, where you would add the keyword to that page. And now what it's going to do is it's going to look everywhere else on any page in your site where that keyword exists, and it's going to link it to that page. Now you can then say, don't link to the same page more than once with the same keyword. And you can also create dampening rules so that you can rein it in, so that you're not going to be linking off every page. You might only want to link on 50% of your pages. So instead of having to go through, find your pages, put the content in there and put the links in there, it's just going to find your existing content that has the phrase that it's looking for and link it. So that will save you hours and hours of time. At that point, it's really about how you create your content and how you structure it in the future. So if you're using, if you have a content management strategy where you actually know that you need to add a certain amount of pages that are going to get this phrase ranked, where you're going to consolidate that and link to another page that really is the target page for that, that's how you would go about doing that. And so between the deep link juggernaut, between the titles and metas that we talked about, the relevant titles, the strong call to action, and your meta descriptions. And we could take it a step further with the site architecture stuff, but it's not so easy to just sort of describe, but essentially It's about creating categorized structures that Google can understand, and you're only going to nest relevant subcategories and supporting articles within that, and that's what siloing is all about. But you can create the virtual silos just by using the linking structures that we talked about to really give you a very instant noticeable boost in search engines. And we're talking about getting ranked without backlinks in many instances, at least to get you to the, in the top 10 pages, so to speak. And from there, you can worry about links. But we've built sites just with pure silo architecture and no backlinks that already begin to rank, and especially particularly for local phrases, you can even get them to rank in the top 10 in a relatively short period of time just from the site architecture.
Yeah, site architecture is absolutely huge.
Absolutely. I'd say that the internal linking is next, and obviously having relevant meta titles and descriptions really helps, but it's really the site architecture is the basis of all that. It's the crux.
Oh, absolutely, because anything that makes it easier for the bots to be able to completely crawl.
Think like a spider, essentially.
Yeah. So I realize that this is probably a much more technical show, probably than ever before. But I really wanted to have Jeffrey on because from every interaction we've had, and I'll tell you that actually I had a bit of a problem with my host when I first purchased SEO Design Framework, and what really interested me in Jeffrey was the fact that he immediately responded to me and kept responding until we had fixed the issue. And the fact was, he didn't know me from Adam. And that's what you want in a good support system. That's the excellence in customer service you want to see with software that you want to be using long term.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very, very welcome.
About SEO Ultimate Plus too. Now there was a whole time period where we really weren't doing support on the WordPress forum for the free version, because we had to build our business, but there was another reason as well. I just wanted to sort of share this for people that didn't know, but I was involved in a very severe, life-threatening motorcycle accident about 3 years ago, and I hit the ground, at high speed, wasn't wearing the appropriate gear, and spent about 6 months in the hospital, and basically just had to start over again and learn how to walk again. And there were some complications there where I sort of lost a certain part of my body below the knee. So yeah, it was a difficult time. And so there were just, the priority was healing. And so I just want to let people know that we weren't deliberately not trying to update the plugin and do that. There was a lot of personal issues going on. And that's why one of the main things now with the SEO Ultimate Plus is we're taking that same structure that we have for the framework. And since you do know that, we're talking about minutes, if you fire off a support question, it's not like we're going to wait around for a day or two and get back to you. It's minutes, and we're solving the problem, and we'll push an update right away for whatever that situation is, if it's something to do with the bug you found or anything like that. So that's really the next level for us, and to take that to all the existing users that are using the SEO Ultimate plugin is truly going to be a pleasure for us, and to gain their feedback and to integrate new features based on the things that they need.
Yeah, and it's really great too, because as Google was talking about the mobile update that's rolling out as we speak. What you don't know, Jeffrey, the other day I was at a Google lunch, and it was basically to talk about local and AdWords, but through some of the questions of the people in the room, the guys in Michigan, Joseph and Andy, were really good about answering the questions in terms of organic search as well. Yes. And they were really saying, basically, relevance is all. Relevance is top. And put out something sort of interesting, because they said duplicate content doesn't matter that much.
They'll say that, but honestly, the real value is just making sure that if you have something like that, if you have a lot of duplicate content or thin pages or tag pages, you're better off just using a canonical and redirecting them to somewhere that can make a difference, or just not even having them indexed at all. Only because you really want to have strong signals, and you want to consolidate that ranking factor on the pages that make the most significant impact on your business for conversion. So. But yeah, definitely relevance is king. It's not just content, it's really how it's all structured and put together. And it's just some things change and some things never really change. And the search engine is based upon a link graph and the relationships of the phrases. Now they're getting much more intelligent with machine learning and the different algorithms they have, the knowledge base they've just integrated, which is why it's important that you start to work with open graph and micro formats and rich snippets and things of that nature, because it allows you to take that relevancy or that semantic relevance that you're creating on your pages and now mark it up in a way that it really understands and can share that in the knowledge graph and really provide an even stronger signal for you to get ranked.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's like for, here in Canada, we have two basic languages. So everything we do has to be in two languages. Basically, that's what we're saying to people with websites. Yes, you put it up there for the human being, but you also have to pay attention to the bots so that it's easy for them to crawl the site and get the information that they need. So
they need to understand the context. And if you haven't buried away, or if you haven't earmarked the pages in your site that are important to you from linking, how do you expect a search engine to pay any more attention to it? And so, links are your way, because links count both internal and external. So a link from your site is just as strong as a link from another site if your site is structured properly. And so it's really about learning how to finesse that. And in a way, it's like having the champagne glass at the top and the tin at the bottom, where you pour the champagne at the top and it cascades throughout the site. You need to structure where you want that to go. And that's really the basis.
Oh, that's a really good. That was a good visual for me, for sure.
The word champagne might have triggered something.
Yeah, yeah, definitely the champagne. But yeah, making it easy for the bots. Not only that, but when you look to your own site architecture and you do all the things you can do first, then getting those backlinks from really good sites is a hell of a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Because you're viable. If you
now
work
you got social, and that's the thing. We're talking about these sites that have an immense amount of domain authority and trust. And this whole argument in the SEO community years ago about no follow, do follow, it really doesn't matter. It's a signal, and that signal is a citation, and that citation is relevance. So even your own social properties, once they're active, they can trigger the right type of signals for engagement, and those metrics actually matter. So it's really less about the backlinks, and there's a lot of other things in the way that SEO is evolving, how there's ways to work with JSON and some other languages and the machine stuff just to literally put the right type of markup on a page, use the semantic markup to create an entity, if you will, and get that page ranked just on the merit of understanding of how it's plugged into the knowledge graph. So that's about all I can say about what we're going to be doing with our SEO Ultimate Pro. But in this latest iteration of SEO Ultimate Plus, we've added events, people, places, software, video for all the rich snippets. We've added we've added several open graph types, and we also trying to think of the last thing. There's a lot of new things that we added to this, and we also added all the 7 Twitter card types that you can customize, as well as Google Plus. So now instead of working on your favorite post and then you go to save it on social media and it looks nothing like what you just created, you have the ability to customize that post, that title, meta description, and image for the different properties. So you'll have your basic open graph, which goes out to Facebook and LinkedIn and MySpace and places like that. You'll have the Twitter cards that you can customize, look completely different than the other tab.
Yeah.
You have your Google Plus listing look something entirely different. So this is sort of one of the little previews that I wanted to give you for what we call the Open Graph Plus module that's going to be in the SEO Ultimate Plus that we'll be releasing soon.
Oh, that's fabulous. Okay, that is fabulous, because that's one of, I guess, the great features is being able to control, the imaging that comes up on those social channels.
Exactly. Social that Google Business Markup as well.
Yeah.
You'll be able to add your Google Business Markup for local and all those things. So we've added You know, we've been a little quiet about it, but it's really that time. So we'll be launching soon, and we'll make a little noise.
Well, yeah, and it was interesting too because everybody knows I'm major Google Plus evangelist. Been
Yes.
there since day 3. I'm forever touting Google Plus, and it was
Awesome.
really wonderful at the lunch the other day to have the guys say, yes, okay, you need to pay attention to Google Plus. It's part of this magic search engine that
It is.
takes into account everything. You cannot discount it. That to
No, no,
me
not at all.
is where you should start. And integration to me is the next. This is the next step. You need to integrate everything you do.
Well,
So that,
seriously, it's almost like from the horse's mouth. You're literally going to get citations. You can take a page that's
yeah,
brand new and put it on Google Plus, and now you've just triggered all the spiders to go and check this page out. If it becomes viral on that, all those citations. You're talking about, the difference between now and SEO from 2002 and beyond, or 2006, I should say, is the social signals allow you to get ranked instantly. Where you're not talking about days, you're talking about hours. I mean, I've seen, just in our day when our blog was really strong, I'd publish something, and the stronger and the more signals that a site gets, the more authority it has, the more the spiders just sort of hang out on the site. So I would publish something. I could wait 11 to 12 minutes and go to Google and type in some portion of the title for a very competitive keyword, up to a couple million competing pages, and it would be right there at the top because it was a trusted source. And so that's how it sort of works, where there's certain sites that are grandfathered into the algorithm. Your goal is to create as much trust as you can, and so by using all the different signals, by the linking, the social signals we're talking about, it really does create that trust that Google looks for. Google Plus being one of those things that's also a major contributor to that you can create the avalanche for spider activity as well as social activity. Take a page that you just created that's now ranking within minutes.
absolutely. And having the ability to tie that with your Google Plus comments and with
Yes.
YouTube and actually even embedding them on your blog gives
Precisely.
you all of that. Again, the integration piece.
Absolutely.
So, oh my God, time has flown.
I forgot my watch. I literally did. I'm like,
well, that's good. One other quick thing, just so people get an idea of how incredibly well-rounded my guest is. The painting behind him, he did. So that's just another facet of Jeffrey Smith. There are so many. I am so honored to have you on the show. Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for being here, for everything you've shared. And I will make sure that we have all the appropriate links to SEO Design Solutions and where you can get the SEO Ultimate plugin. And all of that information will, of course, be on the site, on the page with today's show. It really has been incredible. I'm Elaine, Lindsay of Truth Social Media, your host here at Business Banter Plus TV, and I really hope you got as much value out of today as I did. Thanks so much. Make the day matter.